Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. Yes. As you can see, my main man G's not here with me. He had a death in the family, so please send all your love, all your prayers towards him.
Condolences and love, G. Condolences and love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we make sure we do that. But in his stead, I have a worthy substitute. Got my main man Brian Transform. B, what's good?
What's good, my guy? What's good?
Nothing much, man. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's wait a couple minutes, see if we can get a couple people in the chat. Hopefully, we get some people popping up, and then we can go ahead and kick it. But before we get to that, man, we had some good talk prior to the show popping off. So can't wait to share some of our thoughts with our viewers and listeners. And we got some good stuff lined up. Gonna talk Patrick Ewing. So normally, in case you didn't know, normally I do a Throwback Thursday segment, but obviously this past Thursday was 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. This past Thursday was 4th of July, so I wasn't able to, I guess I shouldn't say wasn't able to. I didn't do a segment for Throwback Thursday, and we didn't do a show on Wednesday as we often do. Had some different stuff going on, but I'm here tonight, so we're gonna slide that Patrick Ewing in for Throwback Thursday on the first segment, and then we'll go from there, and we will talk we'll talk Paul George and him getting that max. Him signing for the max with 76ers, and then we'll talk about Klay Thompson, end of an era, no longer Splash Brother. I guess he'll always
be that's different,
right?
That's
very different.
Wild, man.
Yeah, so we'll talk about him in the new uniform in Dallas, how that affects the Mavs, what we see, how that affects the Western Conference, how that affects your Lakers.
No, let's not dive into that. It's too soon.
Okay. Oh, we got to talk about it. Right. And we're going to talk about the biggest story in sports, LeBron James and his son, Bronny, who coincidentally made his his summer league debut today. And it didn't go too well, but I'm not.
Yeah, it was bad.
You know what though?
You can tell it was timid. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about it. All that comes into it. That LeBron and Bronny thing, that's going to be a serious topic. We got some good stuff there to really get into.
All season.
Yeah, man. So before we get started, let me ask you, bro. I see you got a hat on, says Lakers, and it says champion. So is that your in-season tournament champion?
You need me to zoom in a little bit?
That's your in-season tournament championship?
Nah.
I'm saying y'all hanging banners for that. So I'm just saying.
Hey man, so we're just promoting what the NBA is giving us.
Oh, that's what
it is. They wanted to create something. And the Lakers, man, we just got to be the first to do something. You know what I mean?
Oh, y'all got to be the first to do something.
Yeah, got to be the first one. Like, as long as you hear in-season tournament for the rest of your life, the Lakers got the first one.
You know what? I respect that. I do.
You got the first one.
That was the best answer I ever heard on that BS. That was good. You know what, though? You're right. And I respect being the first one to something. I do. Because the Celtics are the first one to get to 18 world championships. So, I figured I would, I totally understand and respect what it is to be to be the first one to do something in NBA history. You know what I'm saying?
It's good, man. You got like 12 of them back when
we're not talking about all that, man.
Born.
We're not talking about it.
Okay. Got it. I got you, brother.
Hey man, look, somebody had to set the tone for the NBA and what it would become and where it would go, and that's us. Okay. So I'm good with that,
Okay, Bill Russell out here bullying freaking mailmen and stuff like that, and
hey man,
you want to go ahead, Clive?
Hey man, I'm just saying. Quick side note, it's funny that you brought up the Bill Russell piece. So many fans and proponents of the modern NBA talk about how much better the athletes are today versus back then, right? And I've always pushed back on that because I think there's elite athletes in any era, right? It's just a function of today's athletes have the benefit of technology, right? Sports medicine, science, sports science, nutrition, all those things, right? You know that as well as anybody, being a trainer like you are. So you know about all the amazing things that are available to modern athletes that weren't available back then. Anyway, I bring that up because you mentioned Bill Russell, and I thought I just wanted to throw it out there. When Bill Russell left college in 1956, he was the number 7 ranked high jumper on earth.
Wow, really?
Yeah. People don't realize Bill Russell was a freak, right? It's just he was a dude whose team didn't necessarily ask him to score that much. Bill Russell was a freak, though.
Wow, like number 7.
Number 7, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So he went to the Olympics for basketball. Matter of fact, him and Jerry West played on the same Olympic team in Sydney, and they won the gold. And he could have, he could have been a track and field guy in the Olympics as well.
At the same time.
I'm trying to tell you.
That would have been legendary.
That would have been legendary. So this whole business of, the athletes back then were, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Was he an outlier? Probably.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you can't tell me that you had more athletes back then that could have made the Olympics team than now.
Mm-hmm. No, I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree with you on that. Let's take a quick breather right here, and y'all know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. What we're going to do, let's go ahead and we're going to move on to topic number 2. And that's going to be, this is interesting to me. This is Paul George is now a Philadelphia 76er. And so we talked about, it was last week you were on with me, right, bro? No, 2 weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. So I thought that Klay Thompson would have been a better fit in Philly. And, just because of his shooting and spreading the floor and all that. But Paul George works just as well. So as we know, Paul George is now a Philadelphia 76er. What's his new deal that he got from Philly? He got he got 4 years, $211.5 million.
There you go.
Yeah, so they basically they maxed him out. Obviously, he couldn't get bird rights. That would have been the Clippers to give that to him, but Philly maxed him out, and I think that's I'm not really sure how to take that. I think it's an interesting fit in terms of what he could do. What's up?
Talk to me.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting fit in terms of what he can do on the floor. Yeah. I don't know if I'm willing to give him that money. He played 74 games last year. I didn't even realize that till I was kind of doing research for this. Mm-hmm. But you can never count on what somebody does in a contract year. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
People go balls to the wall in contract years.
I call that the Kawhi Leonard effect. If you look at Paul George before he went to the Clippers, man, Paul George was giving you 70 games a year. He was giving you 70 games. When he became a Clipper, Kawhi showed him that, hey, bro, if you don't feel good today, you don't know how to play.
Take it easy, brother.
Just take it easy, brother. Come over here and sit next to your boy. We run that lane. We ain't got to do nothing out here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think now that championship fire is lit, I think he's going to try to push another 70 games, especially with the way the awards things is changing and things like that. You got to play that 65 games. Honestly, that's going to start putting a whole fire under, like Anthony Davis last year played 70+ games.
That's right.
Players are going to start like, oh man, they're going to start dinking this. They putting it in the contracts now.
Yeah, this is about money now. Yeah.
Games. Like, okay, now y'all really harping down on us. So I like the move. I called it when I found out that him and the Clippers wasn't going to work. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the perfect place he can go is Philly.
Okay.
Philly wants anybody. They want Paul George. Right.
So from a basketball sense, why you think Philly's the perfect fit?
Tobias Harris.
He's gone.
He's Tobias Harris turned Super Saiyan. If Tobias Harris learned how to freaking play when it mattered.
Oh, that's good.
Tobias Harris turned Super Saiyan. That's all Embiid needs. Somebody like, hey, when I go sit on the bench, you and Maxey can run the show.
That's right.
Somebody that can run the show, keep us afloat. Let me get a breather real quick. Now let me come back. You know what I mean? So I think that's what they've been missing. Do you know Tobias Harris got a Kirk Cousins-esque agent?
Oh, he's got one of those?
Like, he has a Kirk Cousins-esque agent. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we paying Kirk Cousins $50 million a year for?
Right.
I mean? So at the same time, when we're looking at Tobias Harris and his contract, That man was getting paid what, $30 million a year to do what when the time came? To do what exactly? So I think when you got a guy like Paul George, he can play both sides of the floor. Great two-way player. He can put the ball in the basket. Yes, he has his woes and some playoff series, but there's other playoff games where he can give you 30. You know, he can go and give you 30 real quick, give you 25. And I think when you can do that with who I consider the best big man in the league, when healthy, and you got Max coming up, and Max, he's turning into a star in his own right. You know, that's a team that I would like to see go against Boston. That's a team that I would like.
Absolutely. And you know what? I love that you said that when healthy, Embiid is the best big man in the league.
When healthy, big red flag.
Yeah, because he gives the Joker that work. Sneed, when you're ready to call in at the end of this segment, numbers 904-219-8264. Numbers at the bottom of the screen scrolling. So just keep an eye on that. But yeah, Paul George, man, I like it because it gives you another slasher. And so people get on Paul George. Obviously, he's had an injury history, but what was it? 2 years ago, Kawhi Leonard, as usual, was injured in the playoffs. And I love the fact that Paul George put the Clippers on his back and took them guys to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in team history. So Paul George can get it done if he's healthy. He can.
He can.
Yeah, nobody's going to sit here and try to tell you he's LeBron or Kobe or Michael Jordan or anything like that. But Paul George is a very, very good player. He can run the point for you if you need him to. He's a point forward type. Obviously, he can still defend at a high level. Paul George, I think he's a really good player. He can stretch the floor. He's able to shoot the rock. So I like it a lot. I love this move. Obviously, as a Celtics fan, I don't love this move, but I love this move for basketball. And no, I mean, if we're real, right? And I know you're gonna love what I'm about to say here. The Celtics every champion gets some breaks on the way to the title, but the Celtics got a lot of breaks on the way to their championship. So I fully imagine that in their efforts to defend said championship this year, they're going to run into a lot of teams that's going to be ready to give them the business. And so that's going to make the Eastern Conference playoffs even better. And we're going to see if they're good enough to do it. And I love the move that they have made. Okay, let's see here. AJ, what's good, man? Appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead. Click that like and that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Terrible fit in Philly. Should have been in Miami. Now, let me ask you this, AJ. Are you saying that because you're a Heat fan, or are you saying that because there's a real legitimate reason why you believe that that's a terrible fit? I'd love to hear that.
Answer honestly, AJ, because I know the answer.
He put me on blast.
So I'm gonna let him go ahead and be a man and answer his own question.
Okay. But yeah, I think so. Paul George, if we're gonna take a second to digress here, Paul George in Miami would be an interesting fit because him and Jimmy Butler are kind of the same player. Except he's a better long range shooter than Jimmy Butler. So like, why would you do that? You're duplicating it, and you will very likely end up in the same situation you were when you were in with the Clippers. One or both going to be injured at some point during the season when you need them. Yeah. So I really don't know. Nah, I'm trolling for real. I'm a Heat fan. Okay, AJ, I got you. Appreciate your honesty, brother.
I'm proud of you, AJ. I'm proud of you.
but yeah, I think that would be a difficult fit, but I like it. Kyrie, what's good, my G? How you doing, bro?
What? Kyrie.
Man, listen, Kyrie, man. You know what? When this segment is over, you can call in. Matter of fact, stick around, Kyrie, because if you see on the rundown that last topic, that LeBron and Bronny, we're gonna get into it, and I got some stuff for you. And
come back me up, Kyrie.
You're gonna hear this a lot, Kyrie.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'm big on that one. All right. So all you got to do is you can correct me if you can come with the receipts. All right. Make sure that when you come proper. So I'm waiting for you on that, Kyrie. But real talk, thanks for the love, bro. Make sure you go over to the YouTube channel, hit that like and subscribe. Anyway, yeah. So Paul George in Miami, that would be an interesting fit. I don't know that it would be the best fit. I think it's a better fit in Philly. Again, floor spreader. You're playing with Embiid, and then we're forgetting Maxey. Maxey is a real problem. What did he average? 30 a game in the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Yeah, and what he
Maxey's a
averaged 27
baller.
a game while Embiid was out. So I love the fact
Mhm.
that he stepped up and did his thing. So now you got 3 legitimate scorers on that team. You got
Yes.
guys who can defend. You got guys who can shoot. You got guys who can slash. It's good. It's a
Yeah.
good lineup, good
And I
fit.
like how they kept Oubre. They brought
That's
Oubre
right.
back, so you got more length on the defensive end. You got more,
Very good.
more size to battle to go against Boston with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and their length on the basketball court. So, like I said, this year is going to be it's definitely going to be a big test. Like I said, and I said this before, and this is no Boston hate at all. I don't see Boston repeating if they got to go through the juggernaut that they were supposed to go through last year. I don't see it. You know what I mean? Because if Philly's at full power, you got Boston. Milwaukee at full power. You got the Knicks doing what the Knicks are doing.
Rebuilt specifically for them.
But like, man, you got
It could be tough.
Indy and what's his name? Indy. What's his name?
They kept Siakam. They extended Siakam. Obviously, you're going to have a healthy Halliburton.
There you go. You got Halliburton over there. So you got some formidable opponents.
Yeah, the East about to be rough, bro.
Pieces, they tweak it a little bit. It can get a little rough. So
you're right.
I want to see the money grab is Boston, Philly. That's going to be the money grab in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay. That's going to be money.
Yeah, no, I think I think you're 100% right. Honestly, it is going to be very tough sledding for Boston to get through. Obviously, they've got to shoot to try to get that number 1 seed again. Because they got to need it. There we go. Man Down Sports was good. My main man Mel was good. Good to see you in here, brother. Yeah, we that last topic is going to be fire, man. Get ready for that. But yeah. So Philly signed the Martin twin from Miami. Okay, there we go.
Okay, Taylor Martin.
Yes.
Did they get Taylor Martin?
This is going to be man. Boston. They better get ready because when you're the champion, everybody builds a team specifically to beat you. Right.
It's different when you're being the hunted.
That's right. Yeah. So they're everybody in the East is pretty much now loaded for bear to try and take down Boston. Because they're saying like, hey man, y'all had a nice little run. Y'all got an easy way through. And don't get me wrong, they still were the best team in the league. But
I missed that. That happened today.
I did too. I missed it as well.
That's more heat for Philly.
Yeah.
Jeez, he turned down the Heat $65 million contract before signing with Philly.
So
that's major. Man. That's major. You got him. You got Maxey, you got Paul George, you got Oubre, you got Embiid. Oh my!
So you got defenders and you got scorers. I mean, think about it. Everybody is loading up on two-way wings to try and deal with Boston.
Absolutely.
Two-way players and wings, yeah, because of the way Boston has constructed their team. If Embiid can stay healthy, and I'm not saying this just because if you look on this channel, I've made videos about Embiid. Embiid is that dude in the modern NBA. When he's healthy. You can't deal with him. And if he can stay healthy, I think he'd be an absolute problem. You know,
like we say, it's the biggest red flag. It's that it's all predicated off of an if. The man has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, we're talking about a completely different Eastern Conference Finals. A completely different Eastern Conference Finals.
No, I'm with you.
Because I mean, last year before he got hurt again, he was gunning for MVP for the second year in a row.
He would have got it. He would have got it. He was dominating.
He was dominating.
He was dominating.
Was getting bodied. Jokic was getting bodied in one-on-one matches.
That's a fact. And so quick side note to that. Absolutely, AJ, you're right. Everyone talks about how Jokic is, hands down the best big in the league. And I give you that other bigs can't do what Jokic can do in terms of what he is asked to do in his offense. And I respect that. But one, you got to play both sides of the ball. And two, he plays in an era with very few legitimate real deal centers. And when he faces the other guy who's arguably at the best at the position, he gets dealt with. So we got not being you, but we gotta stop all this, just ignoring that because Embiid gets hurt a lot. Because when they play against each other, you see what happens.
Oh, it's night and day. It's night and day. Somebody need to stat me use that because it's night and day. Boston backbone on defense and rebounding. I can do those things better than them. This is a pointless argument. Philly can't do what Boston is doing. Come on. I don't agree. Come on, man. Who in Boston stopping Embiid?
Cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough because Boston lacks the size and Snead. Like we were saying, Paul George he's a two-way wing, which is exactly what you need to be able to contend with Boston. And so, don't get me wrong. I think what Snead is referring to, he loves the fact that offensively you got a lot of guys that have similar. Hang on, Snead. I'm gonna get to you in a minute, man. We have a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys on Boston's roster who are almost interchangeable in the skill set that they have offensively and defensively, and I totally get that. And that makes them very difficult defensively. That makes them very difficult offensively. But Philly has built up a team. They built up a roster, I think, that's specifically designed to beat them. New York Knicks have built a roster specifically designed to beat them. We have yet to see what other moves Milwaukee are going to make in order.
Yeah, they've been very, very quiet this offseason. Yeah, very, very quiet.
Mm-hmm. So we
still got Dame Lillard, Middleton, Giannis. You know, I think they still currently have Brook Lopez, correct?
Yeah.
Or is he a free agent?
I think he can. I saw something today about.
Or is he on an option? Maybe he's on an option. But if they still got him, Bobby Portis, you know, I mean that team is still formidable defensively, size.
But they're old and slow though. That's the problem. They don't, and of course Lillard is always going to be a liability defensively.
Oh yeah. He's not no Drew Holiday.
We just saw the finals. It's fresh. How are we forgetting what Boston is doing? I'm absolutely not forgetting what Boston is doing, Snead. I'm a Celtics fan since I was 8 years old, and I know my buddy here, Bryant Transform, he certainly isn't forgetting what Boston is doing because obviously you can see who he reps for. So I nobody is saying necessarily that these teams are going to beat Boston. We're saying we're watching them building rosters specifically tailored to compete with Boston, as you should do. But
if you think that it's not going to be a competitive series, if Embiid is healthy,
yeah, man,
I'm willing to put some bread on that, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
I need the pockets to start talking because
absolutely. So let's do this, man.
Paul George, Maxey, now Caleb Martin. Oh man, boy, you got some heat.
No doubt. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead, open up these phone lines. Number is 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Let's go ahead, open up these phone lines. Snead, I saw you trying to get in. Give us a shout back. Then you will get hurt. Definitely looking to hear your comments. And anybody listening, if you got commentary on this, I can't wait to hear from you. Let's do it. Snead, what's good, my brother?
Bruce, what up?
Chilling, man. Good to hear from you.
What's good, brother? Nice to meet you.
What's happening? I appreciate you guys having me on the platform. Thanks for taking the call.
No doubt. What you got, man?
All right, let's start with Paul George.
Yeah, let's do it.
Best years were in OKC, right?
Yeah,
Physical prime, talent, skills, it all came together there. We're starting to see him fall off a little bit. What I also noticed is his most successful years were when he didn't have excellent talent around him. So, for example, the years in Indiana where they took Miami, I don't know if it was 6 or 7 games, but they took Miami down the line. Okay, that's what I remember. I remember 7 games. He hasn't sniffed that level of winning since then. So he went to OKC with an MVP. He went to the LA Clippers with an NBA Finals champion. How many times did Kawhi win a chip? 3, 4?
No, he's got 2.
He's got 2.
He's got 2.
Two-time Finals MVP, I believe, too.
Okay, all right. So where he goes with other Hall of Famers and MVPs, he doesn't even sniff the success that he had in Indiana. I'm just saying. There's clearly
did he just make the Western Conference Finals just a year ago?
That doesn't really click when it's him and some other big-time player. So I don't necessarily think this is some slam dunk that's going to work for Philly.
So let me add this, Need. I believe it was 2 years ago. Kawhi, of course, was hurt in the playoffs, and Paul George was the guy, and he took the Clippers to their first and only conference finals appearance in franchise history. So I got to give him some credit for that.
I mean, I thought he played great. That was probably the best he had played as a Clipper. I don't think he ever had a better run, but in that run. And I think Kawhi was out too, wasn't he, for some of those games in that series?
He missed most of those playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's had moments. I like Paul George. It really hurt me to see what happened to him when he broke his leg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was devastating because I thought he was one of the best young talents in the league because he didn't turn 30 yet. He was still in his 20s when he broke his leg. And for a guy to play both sides of the ball at that level, he is a unique talent.
I agree.
So he's a special player. We're going to look back 20, 30 years from now and tell our kids and our grandkids about Paul George. This guy was really, really good. He had a complete game. We'll be talking about that. But it just doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work and you're going to get to the finals and it's going to be a chip. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Embiid, who I've already called you before on this, Bruce. We talked about Embiid. It just doesn't work with him. He's going to get hurt, and I hate that. I hate to say it. But what proof do we have that he can stay healthy? You give me the season where he didn't have some injury. He didn't have a stomach problem. He didn't have the knee. Like, it's just something about him being 7 feet and like 285 or whatever he is, 300 pounds. He's a big dude. And then he gets a small injury and he has 10, 20 games and he's trying to work back into shape and all this. There's too many variables with Embiid.
Yeah.
And it's good for the Sixers to get George because he'll carry the Sixers for the 2 months that Embiid will miss.
Wow.
No doubt he can carry them. But the problem is there's no guarantee. And I'm looking at the construct of Boston. Boston is beating teams with all NBA players, right? Because they themselves have all NBA players and they have all defensive supporting guards. You can't just play these guys in a pick and roll. You got Porzingis blocking shots at the rim into smithereens. You got him hitting threes. You got these guys hitting shots. Some nights you got Drew Holiday giving you 20. Some games you got Derek White getting you 4 threes out of nowhere. Horford's getting you threes sometimes. It's crazy. They get stuff out of these guys, and they are selfless, and they have one mission, and that is to win. And I swear, the 2 guys that they got in Tatum and Brown, you just look at the formula that they have in place. It's too hard to beat that. You have to have guys like that. And I don't think Philadelphia will. I mean, even let's say they were to meet in the Eastern Conference Final. Let's say they met in the semis. Boston's winning that series in 5. And they'll be competitive games. They'll be within 5 points every game. But I expect the Boston Celtics to execute and beat them. Because you think Maxi's going to keep scoring at that clip with Paul George on the roster? You think
he doesn't have to, though.
Continue to average 20. Okay, but I'm just saying, you think guys are going to be happy about seeing their roles diminish a little bit when they haven't won anything? They're going to have to think to themselves, for the betterment of the team, I might have to get a few less touches, a few less shots. Do we have proof that Maxi's cool with that? Or how about Embiid? Do you think Embiid will be cool getting less shots? I mean, half the time I see him hanging out at the
Embiid wanted him there.
Another critique I have about
that's
Embiid.
a big.
He's always hanging out there.
That's a big problem for me. But
he's the best player in the post. Who's going to stop him?
I will say though that I believe he shot less threes this year and spent a little more time on the block. Not as much as he should, but he
and
spent
wasn't
more.
It until he got hurt? Was it not a legendary first 50-some games?
Oh yeah, he was going off. Absolutely,
he was set for one of the best NBA seasons probably of all time. I mean, obviously, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, of course,
one of his, right? But I'm just saying, like, he was. But no doubt it's going to
happen. He was
averaging
like 36 and 12. He was going nuts.
It was
too many variables, Bruce. I wouldn't count on Philly getting to the Eastern Conference Finals only because there's too many variables.
Well, I hear all of that, and I don't disagree with most of it.
I don't want to put the stipulation of predicting the future. I keep saying if healthy.
But
big if.
I think what Snead is saying is that's always the caveat when it comes to Embiid, though.
Yeah.
If I go to work, I might get paid. You know what I'm saying? We could do this all day.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I hear you on that, Snead. I totally get what you're saying, but what we're talking about again is just what it could look like with all these teams basically loading up to take on Boston. And nobody's saying they would beat them. We're saying they would be a seriously competitive matchup if those guys can stay healthy. That's all. And Maxey already got his money, so I don't think it's gonna be too big of an issue. I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue for him to maybe step back a little bit and get less touches, because it's not like it's going to be affecting his up and coming deal. He got paid. He got his. Yeah. So
you guys give me your prediction. How many games did the Sixers win this year? How far do they go? What's their ceiling?
I think they win between 55, 60 games. Yeah,
55, 60.
Yeah, I'm right there. And I think, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm saying conference finals. They can't keep not getting to the conference finals. Embiid is too good. At some point, the breakthrough has to happen. Now, is he going to win a championship? Not saying that, but at some point, the breakthrough has to happen, and everything is in place. I think conference finals this year. I think it can happen.
I agree.
I respect it. I think you guys are on point with your game totals, and I think their ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got coming out the West?
Oh, that's it's a nightmare. Don't make that face. You know the Lakers,
man. The Lakers. No, I'm messing up.
Okay, so if the Sixers go to the finals, who are they playing in the finals from the West?
Oh, that's tough because, man, and we're going to talk about it next. We see that.
That's a good
we see that Dallas made a big move. Obviously, I think Denver lost some firepower, so they may not get back. Man, I don't.
They lost KCP.
The question is, did OKC grow from their experience? Did Minnesota grow from their experience? We don't know.
Yeah.
Is Minnesota still going to make a move?
OKC went and got Hartenstein.
That's a big move there too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hartenstein from New York.
Oh yeah. Saw that move. Yeah.
That's major. Now you got some interior defense to go with Chet out there on the block.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think Philadelphia got the best player that they could get?
I said before that I thought Klay Thompson would have been the better fit, but now that you say it, because Klay Thompson can't defend like he used to, I think they probably did get the best player that they could have gotten. Yeah,
they got the guy that they've been wanting for the last couple of years.
No, I think they got the best player they could get.
Yeah,
I think he does a lot of things for them.
Yep.
Just got to see how it works with Maxey and Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what this does to Maxey's game, because Maxey's still a young player.
Mm-hmm.
He's still kind of developing an identity. You do something once or twice. Now 3, 4, 5 seasons where you're kind of that guy. He's still kind of developing his identity, and he did it alongside. The Embiid, it was just those two kind of like most recently.
Right.
I always thought Tobias Harris was just a bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do enough,
Yeah.
And
Kirk Cousins.
Well, they were able to unload him, and now we'll see what Philly can do. I think it's good for the East. Obviously, I'm an East Coast guy. That's where I've been for pretty much most of my life. I'm an East Coast guy, so I love to see when the Eastern Conference is doing well, and the West has been a beast for a long time. So it's good to see that we'll have some parity between the conferences. This is going to be good. Again, the caveat is
in the West, right?
Man. So now he asked if the East is better than the West now. So obviously the champions are in the East. The Knicks are improved. The Sixers are improved. Milwaukee, not sure what they're going to do. Cleveland is still good. Orlando's on the come up. The East is in good shape.
Indiana's still there.
That's right. How did I forget about Indiana? You're right. The East might be better than the West.
Right over them.
I did. You're right. That's my bad. The East might be better than the West.
I love everything. I respect you guys. Everything's been solid, man. Appreciate the show. I'll be calling back soon. I will.
Awesome, Sneed. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your feedback always. All right, that's a good call. Anybody else want to call in and give your thoughts on Paul George? If not, we are going to go ahead and we are going to move along, and we're going to get to Klay Thompson. The Splash Brothers are no more.
The Splash Brothers are no more.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?